Disclaimer, this is a topic that goes way deeper than the depth I'm diving into in this video. This video is not a breakdown of Jacksonville gang politics. In this video, my plan is to take an overall look at JDot's legacy and comment on what I feel could have led him into getting involved in street politics. Thanks, I hope you enjoy. Jacory Rivers, better known by his stage name, JDot Breezy, is a well-respected Jacksonville drill artist who used to be a promising quarterback before events would transpire that would force him to give up football entirely and dive headfirst into the streets. JDot would spend most of his early childhood in Jacksonville playing sports and doing regular kid things, but being from Jacksonville, he'd also be exposed to a lot of unsavory people and situations. When Dot was coming up, his father would be in and out of prison, making JDot's at-home life a bit chaotic at times. In spite of this, JDot would mostly stay out of trouble, following other local rappers from the city and playing sports. More specifically, JDot had grown to love the sport of football. Dot would have a notable moment as a child that would give insight to some of his future anger issues. One such moment was the first time he accidentally got drunk. I'll let him tell that.
She had motherfucking, I don't know, she had like three or two different types of liquors mixed in. But whatever she chased it with made that shit taste like juice.
Really?
And man, I drunk that shit like I'm leaving the basketball court and I just bought a Snapple out of the store.
Right.
Like I throw that bitch down, you feel me? Man, my mama done left. That shit kicked in like 10 minutes. All I remember is I ran into the wall. I hit the wall with my head, put a hole in the wall. I pulled the knife out on everybody, told everybody I was gonna kill them. Then I started crying. And then I was like, just call my mama. And then I called my mom, I was just on the phone, boo-boo crying. Like, I was drunk as fuck.
Wow.
Breezy would go on to say in later interviews that he was always kind of popular in Jacksonville off his sports shit. I think this served Breezy really well in his stage presence and his future music
shit. I was always known though, like before like fame, like this rap shit, I was still always known. Like everybody always knew who I was.
You just had that kind of personality?
Yeah, like I was like before all the street and beef shit, like I can go anywhere. Like I was good. Like I was cool with everybody.
Right. So your memories of Jacksonville is like a much more peaceful place before it kind of got real violent at a certain point?
Because of his general popularity and his status as a civilian, JDot was welcome on basically every side of Jacksonville. He wouldn't have any notable beefs until later on in his high school career, and those beefs would end up costing him his football dreams. I'm getting a little ahead of myself though. JDot said he started rapping at the age of 11. Apparently the videos are still up on YouTube, but JDot is holding them away from the public. Not that I blame him at all, bro. We all got embarrassing shit from our past.
At what age, or is there like a definitive moment where you started rapping or where you got in the streets? Which one happened first?
Actually, I've been rapping since I was like 11 years old.
Right.
I got like old ass song on YouTube that I would never let nobody find or hear.
JDot's first taste of criminal activity came when there was a trend in Jacksonville of teens stealing cars. JDot, being a middle schooler following the wrong crowd, would begin to steal cars as well. Apparently, he got away with stealing for quite a while before it caught up to him.
Stealing cars.
Stealing cars, that's how it all kind of came around?
Yeah, stealing cars.
You were a Kia boy?
Nah, hell no. I'd take anything.
I think the Kia boys will take anything too.
Take that motherfucker.
Right.
But yeah, stealing cars, man. Like I was stealing cars for a long ass time. Finally got caught for it.
Right. And that was just like you doing it on your own just to have some fun? Or like with a couple of your homies?
Yeah, like see, back then, having a stolen car was like cool.
Like having a car.
Yeah, it was cool. Like every teen, every young dude you see in the street, every teen, high school, middle school, got them a stolen car. Like, damn, that shit was a trend in the city. So like, you better get you one.
After Dot's arrest for the cars, he would decide to take music more seriously, writing songs and raps for other inmates, and kind of honing his skills for a while before he was released. After his release, his football team would go on to win state championship with him as quarterback.
DuvalSports.com, we're here with Jacory Rivers. Jacory, the emotions flowing right now after a state championship. To talk about your feelings after the win.
I just want to thank God. This just show you that God real. We back-to-back state champs. And I just want to say that I did it for my granny. You know, it's just very emotional feeling. I just don't know how to react to it.
Man, it's been a full circle for you from where you started and where you're in. Just talk about that full circle and how you feel.
Overall, I just want to thank Coach Wiley and Mr. Hall. They really helped me change my life. They made a big difference in my life. told me to stick with the process and stick with the program and everything would be straight.
If Dot wouldn't have fallen back into street activity, there is no doubt in my mind that he could have made pro if he stuck with his football path. There are still highlights on YouTube today of him playing, and it's really good to watch. Regretfully, JDot would be picked up by the police that same year for a gun charge. Things were starting to heat up in Jacksonville, to the point of football players being armed on the field in case shit went down, according to both JDot and Fulio. Around this time, JDot would go on to release his first song, First Week Out, while on house arrest. This song was the first of his tracks to gain traction. Dot would go on in no time to gain 400k views like it was nothing. It's currently sitting at 1.8 million views. Around this time, Dot would begin to doubt his academic and sports career.
Oh, I was debating on if I was going to school or not. Like, yeah, so like it was basically I was like not going to school in sort of a sense, like. And then I was like, all right, I'm getting my mind right. I had a long talk with my coach, and I was like, bro, I'm just like leave the streets alone for good, like you know, stealing cars and shit like that. So like I'm like, man, I'm leave the streets alone for good. So like around this time, but when I had got out and shit, it was shit going on in the city, but I was locked up. That I was locked up when shit went down. So before I locked up, I was good with everybody. You feel me? But like people started getting into it and shit, and like it was like people over here that I was cool with and people over here that I was cool with, but I ain't know they got into it. Like I'm locked up.
Right.
You feel me? So like when I got out and shit, it was like I'm still looking at it like I'm good with everybody. Like I ain't beefing with nobody, but the whole time.
During this time, Dot would be living with one of his brothers as him and his mom were having issues, which added on to Dot's worries. Around this time, the war in Jacksonville would be heating up, which kind of forced Dot out of what he wanted to do, that being football, and pushed him fully into the streets. Dot, being cool with everyone, attempted to stay neutral as possible as he continued to grind football. Sadly, Dot's hand would be forced as people who were mad at him for not siding on their side would end up pulling up to Dot's school looking for him, causing the whole school to shut down and causing Dot to become permanently expelled through no fault of his own. This was the defining moment that fully sent Dot into the streets.
So like niggas started doing little lame shit like coming to the school and shit.
Oh yeah,
it
got shut down, right?
Yeah, so like then it got to a point where like the principal like, oh, this is not a safe environment for you. You don't need to be here because you making it danger for other kids that go here.
Damn.
And I'm on the football team. Like I done really talked to my coach and told him I'm done with the streets. Like you feel me? I'm done. Like.
But you're rapping about the streets, so.
No, around this time I only dropped one song.
And you weren't dissing ops right from the beginning.
Nah, I just was rapping gangster, like rapping on shit I heard other people rap. I was just rapping gangster. You feel me? So
and these dudes are just coming to the school and acting hard
in front of a school police officer at that. Like,
I mean, that's just kind of hard to even.
That's dumb as fuck.
Yeah.
So one day, dumbasses come to the school.
Because of how well known the beef had become in Jacksonville, it got to a point where Dot would be turned down for jobs off the beef, as well as people getting killed at the work, really causing Dot to feel as there was no alternatives other than rap or the streets. Dot would end up picking a mixture of both. JDot would go on to click up with Cuckoo Gang and ATK, off their ops being the ones who came and shut down Dot's school and football career. I feel it's disingenuous when motherfuckers claim that he picked a side, as the side that he was on was picked for him by the motherfuckers who tried to fuck him up at school. Dot grew up around Spin-to-Bins, Ace, and Queso, making it much easier for them to click up. I digress though. From this point on, Dot's music would become way more consistent, dropping back-to-back music videos, each one gaining more and more traction. Unfortunately, tragedy would go on to strike, as one of Dot's close friends by the name of Leaky was killed. This caused a shift in JDot's mind. A lot of Dot's friends were urging Dot not to come back to Jacksonville and to stay out the way. Dot would take this advice and go on to create an album called Creation. This would be the first tape to really blow him up. Shoot It Out would be the first song in my memory where Dot would diss rivals, and I believe this was because of the death of Leaky. After the success of Shoot It Out, JDot would go on to release a lot more songs dissing rivals. This would go on to grow his voice in the city quite a bit. No one else in the scene raps as believably as Dot. You can feel his anger and his pain in nearly every single song he makes. It's quite special. After the Ace song Who I Smoke came out, it brought international eyes to the Jacksonville drill scene, and JDot would take full advantage of this. Around this time, JDot would release Camera C and New Bodies, which showed off a unique auto-tune drill sound that was unlike anything coming out of the city before it. Then he collabed with artists like GMK and Lil Papa, who were also coming up in the city, and everything started to trend upwards. Before you knew it, Dot would basically be the face of Jacksonville Wave for a bit, as Spin-to-Bins would be locked up and Ace and Waffle with the Chopper would slow down on uploading. After the death of Fulio, who was the main enemy of JDot, Ace, and Spin-to-Bins, and Wappa, All 4 of them would drop songs individually making references to the death. This would mark the end of the war in many people's minds, but as it's still unfolding, we won't know for sure until later. JDot's life is a tragic tale on how seductive the streets can be to a young teen, especially when everything in his life is pushing him further into the streets, washing away all of his aspirations and his hopes, till he's forced down the path of war and music. For JDot's sake, I hope the war is over and he can just peacefully continue to make bangers and live a good life. I'm not that naive, however. As long as you're in the streets, there is a risk that you will get got. With how hard JDot disses, it's not an impossibility that Fulvio's fate would happen to him. He's shown he moves smart, but it only takes one slip up to crumble the castle, so to speak. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Don't forget to comment anything you would like to see me cover next, and hit the notification bell to see my next videos as soon as it drops. JDot is one of my favorite Southern artists, and I highly recommend you check out some of his music. Thanks, and don't forget, peace out and chill out.